because our membership matters. Now I'm going to go ahead and say this. And as I talk about this, there's going to be some things that I say that some people might find a little hard, a little controversial, but that's okay. I think that some of this has to be said. Some of it has to be heard. It doesn't have to be liked, but it has to be said. It has to be heard. Because you see, our membership matters. You see, God put this body together. What does that section of Scripture say? Instead, God put the body together. Just as God put our physical bodies together, He put this church together. With this group of people. He has called different people to specific churches that have gifts and talents that are needed in that church. If He put the church together, who are we to say that we will not use our gifts and our talents in order to further the gospel? God placed you here to help the gospel go forward in this community. And you are here because you have gifts and talents that God has given you to help this church reach this community. One of the most aggravating things that I hear as a pastor is that God has not given me any gifts. God has not given me any talents. One church I was at, I had this lady come to me and tell me this often. And I finally had to look at her and say, if He's not giving you any talents, if He's not giving you any gifts, then you need to go check your salvation. Didn't see much of her after that. But when you are saved, God gives you a spiritual gift in order to further the gospel. And if you are a member of this church, God has brought you here to this church to use your gift to further the gospel. How are you using your gift to further the gospel here in this church? Because you see, the body is supposed to work together. Just as our body needs all of its members to work together to sustain our lives, so too the members of the church need to work together. We need to work together to further the gospel. And that means that our church needs all of our members to show up. You know, I read a headline this week. The headline basically said that people are now moving to a pre-COVID normal. All right, that's great. I'm glad to hear that. As I look back over the pandemic, I want you to understand that I have seen it move from something that should be a great concern for everybody to it is now one of the greatest excuses that I have seen the church use. We have people that will not set foot in this church here because they are scared that they will catch COVID. Yet these same people will run around in malls, parties, everywhere else, but not come to God's house. I am angered and saddened by that. I'll say this, and you've heard me say it so many times. If you're sick, stay home. Okay? That's why Natalie and Nathan aren't here. Nathan was been sick this weekend. Stay home. But if you are able, you need to be in the church, participating in the body, so that you can get fed to do your part to spread the gospel. You know, we have a roll of about 150 families. And we're averaging 50 Y'all are the warriors, the prayers, the support. And I'm so grateful for that. But where are the other 9? Where are they? I bet you the CIA can't find some of them. But this church can't function properly until all the members are present. Now let me say something that will make some a little uncomfortable. God has also used COVID to prove. There has been some, and this has been in all churches, there's been some people that needed to be removed from that church that God has used COVID to remove them. Now, I'm not talking about passing away, I'm talking about moving out. And that's fine. But there are still others that are using it as an excuse not to gather, to strengthen themselves spiritually for the fight that is to come. We are in a spiritual war. You know how a lion takes down a herd of zebras? One zebra at a time. Church, sometimes I feel like Satan is using COVID to divide the church, to take down Christians, one Christian at a time. You know, that's why sometime in the near future, our broadcast to the park lot's going away. If you're sick, stay home. We've got ways that you can join us from home. But you need to come into the sanctuary. You need to be a part of the church. Because if you are not here, the body does not function properly.